返してちょうだいと言ったら何を渡す？定規だよ。If this makes no sense to you,
stay a while and listen.
This is it, guys. Peak content here. I'm about to explain a joke. Fundamentally speaking, humor as a cognitive construct follows the same pattern every time. It is a contrasting manipulation of audience expectations. The easier it is to expect your joke, the bigger the possibility of it not causing any laughter. Laughter is a vocalized victory proclamation over routine, physical manifestation of boredom being overthrown. It does not regrettably have to be accompanied by constructive, positive contextual reality. A bully's laughter is indeed based on the same mechanism, but is socially destructive and therefore should not be appraised. To surpass one's expectations, you would need to have a firm grasp of your audience's cognitive vector. Things are funny because they're unusual, fresh, and do not surpass our optimal stimulation level. Following the established convention, one can call it the novelty theory. Laughter as an externalization of fun or joy is impossible without being infused with interest. Scientific discourse has also acknowledged the fact that positive context serves as a catalyst to store greater amounts of information in the human brain. Our ability to joke is intricately connected with our ability to juggle existing schemes. In other words, to engage our reality in a playful way. Linguistically speaking, humor carries a lot of implications in relation to the referent and referenced. It is a violation of self-coherence that uses language as a medium and is verified by laughter. Every linguistic transgression like that is a motivation to reflect on our reality and our place within it. It is hard to deny that humor serves as the social glue, an indicator of compatibility and possibility for fluent communication. Humor capacity is also indicative of flexible thinking and being able to reassess existing rules, regulations, laws, and connections. This dialogue and the ability to control it is quintessential for the gaming process. There are many ways one can classify humor. One possible interpretation is viewing it as a multi-associative comparative activity that differentiates the novel from the blasé. I'll make an attempt to divide the referential continuum into linguistical and social areas and demonstrate how they interact, resulting in layered comedy. Based on that, humor can be split into 4 categories: intralingual, social, pseudo-multilingual, and multilingual. However, in practice, what matters is not which layers interact, but the number of steps it takes to reach the message or decipher the punchline. This is called referential value. A high referential value does not equate a better joke. It simply signifies how wide of a range you can interact with to concoct your new solution to ordinarity. The variety of patterns you can generate exponentially grows as you expand your referential bank. Now, let's begin with low referential value comedy, or housewife-house-husband comedy. Jokes like these are based on simple, surface-level topics and delivery with small deviations from audience expectations. Usually, here you would find an abundance of physical comedy, as well as ethnocentric, obscene, scatological, stereotypical forms exploiting group consciousness, where the emphasis is put more often not on critical function of humor, but on its conformist antipode. One of the simplest examples would be the Russian TV show Our Russia, where Central Asia immigrant workers' lack of language ability is made fun of by introducing a heavy accent and other over-exaggerated pigeon-like features to their verbal expression. One of the many shibboleths in this imaginary vernacular variant includes pronunciation of the word начальник as the comedy of miscommunication. In Japan, it is easy to find similar setups. For example, a very popular comedy duo called Saンドウィッチマン has a few performances based around the same premise of immigrants trying to work for Japanese people. There, a foreign worker supposedly gets lost in many of the greetings and ends up saying, Bland as some of these examples might seem, they exist as quite a successful hyperbolized representation of daily ordinarities transformed to seem more fresh and humor-infused. Every joke about women behind a wheel, about British Northerners being less educated, about blonde people also belongs in this category. It's a cheap way to consolidate your group by demonstrating that we're not that stupid / primitive / greedy / whatever. The plot thickens and we move on to professional humor. Medium referential referential value comedy. It is no secret to any web developer that the predominant paradigm of browser spatial organization is the block paradigm. Armed with this knowledge, you can easily name your next web page builder service based in Japan as Blockly and supply it with a broccoli-looking vector logo. The additional reference, dressing, you need to know to understand this joke in its full glory also includes the fact that the Japanese does not have the sound L. In fact, many foreigners who have spent a decent amount of time immersed in Japanese language end up mixing up these sounds unconsciously, only to cause laughter in friendly settings. It should be noted that professional humor also operates in group categories. This innate desire to use kind of shortcuts manifests itself in many areas of human activity. For example, a popular IT-related joke about front-end developers being unable to enjoy meals in groups because they cannot merge tables. A reference to back-end engineers merging tables in databases, an activity quite unique to their field of expertise. It's a pun based on table, a piece of furniture that consists of a flat top supported by legs, and table, a list of facts or numbers arranged in a special order, usually in rows and columns. Pseudo-interlingual humor. In the case of Japanese, it is usually wasei eigo, or Japanese-based English comedy. In other words, you only need to be proficient in Japanese to understand the joke, so it is essentially a monolingual reference humor. Consider the following joke. Since to an average Japanese person, habu is also a Japanese pronunciation of the English word have, this piece of anthropomorphical creative thought has the right to exist. Problem is, since some natives believe it to be the way to pronounce the English word have, they end up expecting an English-speaking audience to also have a chuckle. Multilingual humor. 支配者ちょうだいって言ったら何を渡す？知らん。定規だよ。そうか。ルーラーイコール支配者か。First, a simple explanation. In Japanese, the words for ruler as in king and ruler as in a measurement tool are different. By phrasing the original sentence in a highly unnatural way and embedding the context of physicality in the verb to pass over, we provide the listener with a hint that this is not your average Japanese sentence. I mean, how can you pass over the king unless we're talking chess? What happens here is what I call, for lack of a better term, reverse calquing.
Well, that makes no sense, you idiot.
We intentionally mistranslate the word and present it as something natural, allowing the receiver to rebuild its intended meaning by reverse engineering the sentence. This is one of the simplest multilingual puns, but it is more than enough to illustrate the requirement for the audience to switch between two modes of thinking and to generate a third mode based on cross-reference of the two. You must intentionally replace a concept in one language with a concept from another language in an almost brute force way that will produce a new reality. And that's basically it. Have a great one.
Ooh.